Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Quote for the day is, if Allah helps you, none can overcome you, and if He forsakes you, who is there after Him that can help you? And in Allah alone, let believers put their trust. The topic for today's presentation is hypothesis testing for two samples. I am Dr. Aisha Amin, PGR of FCP's Community Medicine at Institute of Public Health, and I will be presenting this under the kind supervision of Professor Dr. Saira Afzal. The learning outline for today's presentation is Z-test, independent t-test, pool t-test, dependent t-test, F-test, and multiple choice questions. Learning objectives. At the end of the presentation, the participants will be able to test the difference between sample means using the Z-test, test the difference between two sample means for independent sample using the t-test, test the difference between two means for dependent sample, test the difference between two variances, and to be able to answer the MCQs. So this is the repetition of what we have already discussed in previous presentation. The major steps for hypothesis testing is first you have data. So you state the hypothesis and select the proper test statistic. You calculate the test statistic and you arrive at the decision. At the statistical decision, you've made your final decision to either do not reject a null hypothesis, and you conclude that the null hypothesis is true. And when you reject the null hypothesis, you conclude that alternative hypothesis is true. This flowchart basically shows that when you have the sample, you choose whether you have the mean from the sample or variances from the sample. If you have mean, then you further check whether it is an independent sample or a related samples. When the samples are independent sample, you check whether there are two groups. If there are two groups, you will apply either Z-test or independent t-test based on the tested conditions. And if you have the samples which are related, you will see that there will be a single group which have pre and post test values, and you will apply the dependent test. And if you are working with variances, you will check if there are two variances, then you will apply the F test. So before going into the detail, we will first discuss what are the independent and dependent samples. So independent samples, the subjects selected for the first sample in no way influence the way the subjects are selected in the second sample. In independent sample, we have two samples. The data collected from different groups. There are basically two groups in independent sample. For example, if you're comparing the test score of student in two different classes, or if there is a group of 50 people who were randomly divided into two groups of 25 people in each in order to test the effectiveness of new drug, where one group gets the drug and other group gets a placebo. So there are two groups, one is taking the drug and other is taking the placebo. So there are two independent groups. So there will be independent samples. And what are dependent sample? Independent samples. Um, the selection of the subjects for the first group in no way influence the selection of the subject for the other group. So what comes here is there is you involve repeated measurement on the same subject or the match pairs. For example, if you are measuring the blood pressure for before and after a treatment, so you have only one group, and you have pre-test and post-test measurements. First, you will take the blood pressure before giving a treatment, and after giving treatment, you will record the second measurement. The other example is to check if a person's right foot was slightly larger than his or her left foot. In this case, the samples are dependent because once you have selected a person right foot for sample 1, you must selected his or her left foot 2 for sample 2, because you are using the same person for both feet and you are comparing the both feet. So coming to the z-test for samples, a z-test for two sample is used to compare the means of two population to determine if they are significantly different from each other. Example, suppose a researcher wishes to determine whether there is a difference in the average age of nursing students who enroll in a nursing program at a community college and those who enroll in a nursing program at a university. So the research question would be, does the mean age of nursing students who enroll at a community college differ from the mean age of nursing student who enroll at a university. So the null hypothesis will be there is no difference in the mean age, and the alternative hypothesis will be that there is a difference. So mu1 will represent the mean age of all beginning nursing student at a community college, and mu2 represent the mean age of all beginning nursing student at a university. So we have two groups. Another way of stating this hypothesis is null hypothesis mu1 minus mu2 is equals to 0, or the alternative hypothesis is mu1 minus mu2 is not equal to 0. So if the test is one tail, this is the hypothesis for a two tail. If the test is one tail, if we say that the mean age of nursing student at a community college will be more than the mean age of nursing student at university college, the test will be right tail, and the hypothesis will be alternate null hypothesis will be mu1 is equals to mu2, while alternative hypothesis will be mu1 is greater than mu2. And if we state that the mean age of all nursing student at a community college is less than the mean age of all beginning nursing student at a university, so the test will be left tailed, and we have null hypothesis will be that there is no difference, while at an alternative hypothesis we will state that the mu1 is less than mu2. So if there is a significant difference, if there is no difference in the population mean, there is no difference of the population mean and the sample mean, so we will not reject the null hypothesis, because mu1 is equals to mu2, and the sample means, that is x1 minus x2 difference is not significant, so we will accept the null hypothesis. And if there is a significant difference in population mean, that is x1 minus x2, so we will reject the null hypothesis. So there are few assumptions when you applied the z-test. Before applying the z-test, you must the data must fulfill these assumptions, that the both samples are random samples. The sample must be independent of each other, that is, there can be no relationship between the subject in each sample. The standard deviation of both population must be known, and if the sample size are less than 30, the population must be normally or approximately normally distributed. This is the formula for a z-test, where variances should be known. So we have x1 minus x2, which is the sample means, mu1 minus mu2, which is the population mean, and before there is in the under root we have the value for population standard deviation, and n1 minus n1 and n2 represent the sample sizes. So the step for hypothesis testing are same. We will state the hypothesis, find the critical value, compute the test value, make the decision, and summarize the result. So here is an example with the solution. There is a study using two random samples of 35 people. Each found that the average amount of time those in age group 26 to 35 years spent per year per week on leisure activities was 39.6. This is X1, and those in the age group of 46 to 55 years spent 35.4. This is X2. Assume that the population standard deviation for those in first group is 6.3. This is standard deviation for population 1, and the standard deviation for the population 2 is 5.8. And the alpha is 0.05. So at alpha at 0.05, can it be concluded that there is a significant differences in the average time each group spend on leisure activities? So first of all, we will in the solution, we will state the hypothesis and identify the claim. So the alternative hypothesis will be that there is no difference, and at the null hypothesis will be that there is no difference, and at alternative hypothesis we will found that there is some difference. So we will find the critical value. We all know that at alpha of 0.05, the critical values for z are plus minus 1.96. Now we will put the values in the formula. So we have x1 is 39.6 minus x2 is 35.4. The population mean will be 0, because we're saying there is no difference, and we will put standard deviation for sample 1 and sample 2, and n1 and n2 is the total number of sample, which is 35 people in each group. So we will get the value of 2.90. Now we will plot it over the curve, and we will see that the observed value 2.90, it is more than the critical value, that is 1.96. So we will say that there is enough evidence to support the claim that the means are not equal. That is, the average time spent on leisure activities is different for the groups. Coming to the next test, which is difference between two means of independent sample using the t-test. So a t-test is used to test the difference between means when the two samples are independent. Samples are independent sample when they are not related, as we have already discussed. Also, it will be assumed that the variances are not equal or unknown. So the key assumptions for the t-test or for two independent sample where the standard deviations are unknown. The samples are random samples. The samples are independent of one another. And when the sample size are less than 30, the populations must be normally or approximately normally distributed. So again, this is the two population means. The hypothesis testing will be again in a two-tail test. We will say that there is no difference. In an upper tail test, there the null hypothesis will state that there is a difference. The mu1 is less than or equal to mu1 is greater than mu2, and in a low tail test, mu1 is less than mu2. So this is the formula for the t-test where you assume that the variances are equal. So x1 minus x2 represent the sample means, mu1 minus mu2 represent the population mean, while s1 and s2 represents the variances of the population, and n1 and n2 is the total number of sample, and degree of freedom is calculated by separating the sample size minus 1 or sample size of population 2 minus 1. We will check it with the help of an example. So a researcher wishes to see if the average weight of newborn male infants are different from the average weight of newborn female infant. She selects a random sample of 10 male infant and find the mean weight is 7 pounds 11 ounces. This is X1, and the standard deviation for the sample is 8 ounces. This is the standard deviation for sample 1, and the sample 2, she has 8 females and their mean weight is 7 pounds 4 ounces and standard deviation is 5 ounces. So can it be concluded at alpha 0.05 that the mean weight of the male is different from the mean weight of female, and we will assume that the variables are normally distributed. So the first step again is that we will state the hypothesis and identify the claim. So in null hypothesis, we will state that there will be no difference, and in null hypothesis, we will claim that there is a difference. In step 2, we will find the critical value. So since the test is two-tailed, at alpha 0.05, in a two-tailed test, the degree of freedom is calculated by subtracting the number the n1 minus 1. So n1 is 10. So we will subtract 10 minus 1 will be 9, and in n2 is 8. So 8 minus 1 will be 7. And this critical value will be determined from the table, T table. At 7, this critical value will be 2.365. So we will compute all the values in the formula. First, we will change the weight into ounces. So we will put x1 as 123 and x2 as the population mean is 0, which is assumed. The S1 and S2 is 8 and 5, and N1 and 2 represent the total population sample. So we will get the value of 2.268 after the calculations, and we will plot the value on the curve, and we will see that 2.268 is less than 2.365. So we will say that there is not enough evidence to support the claim that the mean of weights of male infant is different from the mean weight of the female infants, since the value is not lying in the critical region. Next is pool 2 sample t-test, in which we assume that the variances are equal. So assumption is both populations are normally distributed and variances are unknown, but they are assumed equal. So you will see in the formula that there is x1 minus x2, which is the population mean, and in under root you are seeing SP, which shows the pooled variance. So we in a pool 2 sample t-test, we use the pool variance. We calculate the variance by combining the variance of both the samples. We will see with the help of an example. There is an example which shows that the growth of pine seedling in two different substrate was measured. We want to know if growth was better in substrate 2. Growth was measured and included in the table below, and alpha is 0.05. So we have substrate 1, we have substrate 2. First, we will calculate the mean, and from mean, we will calculate the variances. So, in the solution, we will state the null hypothesis that there is no difference, while in alternative hypothesis, we are saying that the growth in substrate 1 is less than growth of substrate 2. So first we will calculate the pooled variance. How pooled variance is calculated? The SP square is showing the pooled variance. So to calculate the pooled variance, you will put the values in this formula where N1 is the total number of samples in the first total number of samples in first group minus 1 and the variance of first group, and N2 represent the total number of samples in second group minus 1 and the variance of the second group. Plus for the pool variance, the degree of freedom is calculated by N1 plus N2 minus 2. So by putting all the values in the formula, we will get 0.55. Now we will put this value in this formula. This T is shows the pool T test. So the values are put in the pool T test formula, which shows x1 minus x2, which is the population mean, under root the pool variance, and 1 divided by N1 plus N1 divided by N2, and you will get the value of minus 6.16. So this, as the test is one-sided, because we are saying that the growth in substrate 1 is less than the substrate 2. The degree of freedom is calculated by adding N1 plus N2 minus 2, that is 12. And we will find the critical value from this table. So at alpha 0.05 and at the value of 12, the degree of freedom is 12, and we will find the value for T at 0.05 is 1 minus 1.782. This is the value for the T test, pool variance at degree of freedom 12, and the variance and the alpha at this place is 0.05. So the test statistic, we will conclude that the test statistic is less than the critical value, as we know that minus 6.16 is less than minus 1.782. So we will reject the null hypothesis. That is, there is enough evidence to support the claim that the mean growth in substrate 1 is less than the growth in substrate 2. Summarizing the t-test and z-test in sample size in a t-test is less than 30, and in z-test is larger, it is more than 30. So the population variances in t-test are unknown, while in z-test they are known. Distribution or assumption for the test statistic is the t distribution, in which the tails are heavier, and in z-test there is normal distribution. Application, the t-test has small sample studies and unknown variances, while in z-test we have large sample studies and the variances are known. Coming to the testing the differences between two means of the dependent samples. The samples are considered to be dependent sample when the subjects are paired or matched in some way. Dependent samples are sometimes called match paired samples. A pair t-test is used when we are interested in difference between two variables of the same subject. Often two variables are separated by time. Assumptions for the t-test of dependent sample is the sample or samples are random, the sample data are dependent, and when the sample size or sample size are less than 30, the population must be normally or approximately normally distributed. For example, if a medical researcher wants to know whether a drug will affect the reaction time of its user, to test the hypothesis, the researcher must pretest the subject in the sample. That is, they are given a test to ascertain their normal
बड़ी मेहरबानी.
the drug, the subject are tested again using a post-test. Finally, the means of two tests are compared to see whether there is a difference. Since the subjects are same in both the cases, the samples are related. To take this effect into account, the researcher employs a t-test using the difference between the pre-test and the post-test values. Thus, only the gain or loss in the value is compared. So again, in a two-tailed test, we will state in the null hypothesis that the mu d, which is the symbol for the expected mean of the difference of match pair, is equal. And in null hypothesis, we will say that there is a difference. In a left tail, we will say that the observed observed difference is less than 0. And in a right tail, we can say that the observed difference in the match pair is greater. So this is the formula for the t-test for dependent sample, where D is the difference of mean in the matched pairs. And SD shows the standard deviation for the match samples, and n is the total number of sample where the standard deviation is calculated by this formula. There is an example in which a dietitian wishes to see if a person's cholesterol level will change if the diet is supplemented by a certain mineral. 6 randomly selected subjects were presented, and then they took the mineral supplement for a 6-week period. The results are shown in the table. Can it be concluded that the cholesterol level has been changed at alpha 0.1? Assume that the variable is approximately normally distributed. So we have 6 subjects, and there is a before test value, and then there is after taking the mineral, there is X2, which represents the post test value. So again, we will put these values in the formula. First, we will state the hypothesis, and then we will find the critical value. The degree of freedom will be calculated by n minus 1, which is 5, and we will calculate it from the T table. We will compute the values in this table. First, we will state the X1, which is the difference in which is the population 1, and X2 is the population 2. The D is calculated by X1 minus X2, and D square is calculated by taking the square of difference of the means. After this, we will find the mean difference, which is found by summation D over the total number of sample, which is N. So 100 divided by 6 will get 16.6. Now we will put these, we will find the standard deviation. Standard deviation will be found by summation D square and N into summation D square minus summation D square. So N is the total number, which is 6. Summation D square, we have the value here, which is summation D square, and D square is taken by taking the square of mean differences of the dependent samples. And summation D is this value we will put over here and take the square of it. And n minus 1 is 6, 6 minus 1. So after taking doing the calculation, we will get 25.4. And now we will take the test value. We will put this value in the formula for dependent t-test, and we will get 1.610. Now we will plot it over the curve. So we will see that there is not enough evidence to support the claim that the mineral changed a person's cholesterol level, because the value, which is 1.610, is not falling in the critical region. So we will not reject the null hypothesis. So this is the summary. If first you will see if there is a sample size which is greater than or equal to 30. If it is greater than 30, then how many samples data do you have? Or whether you know the population variance. Do you know the population variance? If yes, then you will further check how many samples do you have. If you have 1 sample, then you will go for 1 sample z-test. And if you have 2 samples, you will check whether the samples are independent. If the samples are independent, you will go for 2 sample independent z-test. And if they are not independent, you will go for 2 sample paired z-test. And when then you there comes, if you know the population variance, then how many samples you have. If you have 1 sample and you know you don't know the population variance, you will go for 1 sample t-test. And if you have 2 samples, you will check whether they are dependent or independent. If they are dependent and the variances are not known, you will go for 2 sample independent t-test. And if the samples are dependent, you will go for 2 sample pair t-test. Coming to the F-test, for the comparison of 2 variances or standard deviation, the F-test is used. The F-test should not be confused with the chi-square test, which compares a single sample variance to a specific population variance. If 2 independent samples are selected from 2 normally distributed population in which the population variances are equal, and if the sample variances S1 and S2 are compared as ratio S1 over S2, the sampling distribution of the variance is known as F distribution. So for comparing the variances in a two-tailed test, you will state that the variances, null hypothesis will state that the variances are equal, there is no difference. While in alternative hypothesis, you will say that the variances are not equal and there is some difference. In a right-tailed test, you will state in alternative hypothesis that the variances of group 1 is more than the variances of group 2, while in left-tailed test, you will say the variances of group 1 are less than variances in group 2. This again represent how will you check the hypothesis. So if you will say that the variances of F1 is greater than F2, so this will be a one-tail hypothesis and this will be the critical region, and if the value fall in this region, you will reject the null hypothesis. And this graph shows curve shows the two-tail test. So there will be a critical region on right and left side both. And you will state that variances are equal, or in alternative hypothesis, you will state that the variances are not equal. So characteristics of F distribution, the values of F distribution, they cannot be negative because variances are always positive or zero. This distribution is always positively skewed. The mean value of F is approximately equal to 1. For assumption for testing the difference between two variances, the samples must be random sample. The population from which the samples were obtained must be normally distributed. The samples may be independent of one another. So formula for the F test is F is equals to variances of sample 1 and variances of sample 2, where the larger of the two variances is placed in the numerator. So again, the step for hypothesis testing are same. You state the hypothesis and identify the claim, find the critical value, compute the test value, make the decision, and summarizes the result. So here is the example. The mean noise level of a random sample of 16 riding power movers is 93.2 decibel and the standard deviation is 4.3 decibel, while the mean noise level of a random sample of 12 push power movers is 89.5 decibel and the standard deviation is 3.6 decibels, and alpha is 0.01. So we will assume that the noise level of both types of power movers are normally distributed. We will state the hypothesis. That in a null hypothesis, we will state that there is no difference, while in alternative hypothesis, we are saying that the variances of there is a difference and variances of riding power machine is greater, makes more noise than the variance noise of push power machines. So first we will calculate the degree of freedom. We will minus 16 is the total number of riding movers. 16 minus 1 is 15, and degree of freedom for denominator. D represent the denominator. So which is 12 minus 1, which is the second sample, which is 11. And we will calculate this value from the table, which is F table. This is the F table. So we have degree of freedom of numerator here and denominator here. So from the test, we calculated the value. It is 1.4. The critical value is 4.25. Now we will compute the test value. The S1 is 4.3 and S2 is 3.6. We will take the square and do the calculations and we will get 1.43. So we will say that we will not reject the null hypothesis since 1.43, it does not fall into the critical region. 1.43 is less than 4.25. So there is no enough evidence to support the claim that the variances of the noise level of riding power mover is greater than the variances of the noise of push power movers.
क्लास है और
Now it's time for multiple choice questions. The first MCQ is which of the following conditions justify the use of a two sample t-test assuming the equal variances? A, the samples are matched or paired. Sample size must be equal. C, the population variances are unequal. D, the two samples are independent and have equal variances. And E, the populations are non-normal with very small sample size. Okay. The answer is D. The two samples are independent and have equal variances. The second MCQ is a pharmaceutical company tests a new drug. 30 patients receives the drug and 30 receive a placebo. The population standard deviation is known. The goal is to compare the average recovery time between the two groups. Which test is appropriate? A, pair t-test. B, two sample t-test, which is pooled. Two sample z-test, chi-square test, or f-test. The answer is B, two sample Pool t-test. Is a nutritionist compares the sodium level in two brands of cereal. She sampled 12 boxes from each brand. The population variances are unknown but assume equal. Which test should be used? A, Z test for means, B, pair t-test, C, two sample t-test, D, Welsh test, E, F test.
C, two sample t-test.
Yes, the C is the right answer. Two sample t-test. Question 4. Which of the following correctly describe the difference between the F and T distribution? Number A, F distribution is discrete while T distribution is continuous. T distribution is valid only for positive number while F distribution is for all real values. F distribution is symmetrical and T distribution is skewed to right. F distribution is valid for positive number while T distribution is for all real values. E, F distribution is skewed to left while T distribution is symmetrical. The answer is D, as we have discussed that F distribution is only for a positive number, and T distribution, which is for t-test, is for all real values. MCQ 5, an engineer tests two type of tires for durability. 15 cars uses type A and 15 cars uses type B tires. He wants to know if the variation in mileage is the same in two types. What test is suitable? A, pair t-test, B, Z test for proportion, C, F test for variance, D, two sample t-test, E, ANOVA.
Two sample t-test, C.
No, the right answer is C because he wants to know the variation in mileage. So he is checking the variances. He would be checking the variances. So the correct answer is F test for variances. Question number 6. Which condition allow you to use a Z test instead of a T test when comparing two sample means? A, sample size, small sample size, B, normal population distribution, C, unknown population variances, D, equal sample size, E, known population standard deviation.
C. E.
Yes, the right answer is E. In Z test, you know the population standard deviation. MCQ 7, which of the following would be an appropriate scenario to use a paired t-test instead of an independent t-test? A, comparing test score between two different schools. Comparing blood pressure before and after treatment in the same group of patients. C, comparing annual income of people from two cities. D, comparing number of hours worked by employees in two companies. E, comparing weight of cats and dogs.
B.
B. Yes, B is the right answer. 8, you compare the monthly income of freelancers and full-time employees. The sample standard deviations are nearly identical, but the full-time group is more than the twice the size of freelancer group. Which assumption should you be most cautious about when you are using a pool t-test? A, normality of data. B, equal means. C, equal variances. D, randomness of sample. E, sample size equality. C is the right answer, equal variances. 9, in a pair t-test, which of the following is the most important aspect of data structure? A, large sample size. B, equal variances between groups. C, the data must be categorical. D, observations are meaningfully matched. E, the groups are completely independent.
E. B.
Yes, D is the right answer because you will match the pairs, so observations are meaningfully matched. The last MCQ is, which situation would violate the assumption of a two sample t-test the most? A, using unequal sample size, using non-random samples. C, having slightly unequal variances. D, using a one-tailed hypothesis. E, having unknown population means.
E.
The answer is B, non-random sample, because you will assume that the sample is normal or approximately normal distribution to apply a t-test. So this is the key to MCQs. This is our YouTube channel where the presentation will be uploaded. And thank you.